look as if he's have just come straight away for the Green Brigade.
Aye, we'd have meeting at 6:30, mate. Yes, good evening. We're back with our Celtic Unrestricted View. And tonight is the Unrestricted View Goal Rush Friday night show. Tonight I'm joined with Sean. How are we, mate?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm really good. It's been a couple of weeks for you last on, mate. So how's things been?
Work's been a bit mental, to be honest. Anytime you've asked me to kind of come on, I'm like, aye, I can, then bang, just she done it. So, no, looking forward to tonight. Been looking forward to it all week since you asked me, so dying to get stuck in.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And we all have been here. We're all smiling. I see you've got the zipper on tonight. I've got the heating up full because it's obviously still the weather's still really, really cold here in Glasgow. For anyone that doesn't know, it's currently -9 at the moment here in Glasgow. So we're all still kind of biting our fingernails at night time, and we're all chittering. Kettle's gone like mad, making tea. You know how it is, Sean. You know what I mean. But overall, mate, Celtic, how have you found us the last couple of weeks, and what's been your thoughts on the latest couple of performances for the team, mate?
Last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed. I think just after the World Cup break, starting back, there was a couple of games that, when they too close for comfort's maybe the wrong word, but you get what I mean. It's maybe like a 2-1 here and there sort of thing. But the past couple of weeks, I think we've hit top gear yet, but we're certainly getting there. Some of the football we're playing. The game against Livingston the other night, we knew what the game plan was going to be. They would always sit deep, try and frustrate, and we respond with 3 goals in the first half. Absolutely brilliant. So the fact that we're now doing that to teams that are sitting deep against us, we can still hurt them that badly, has been really good to watch. Been really enjoying it.
I think that's the important thing as well, mate. We've now found a way to kind of play against this low block, as everybody likes to call it. But as I've said to Ryan and the boys, Big Jason, the boys that have been on me, his boy Barry as well, has been on me. We've spoke at length about this, Sean, and I've said that this Celtic team just seem to have a lot of firepower. You know, they just seem to have a lot of answers when they're on the pitch, and when questions are asked of them, they just seem to know how to come up with the goods to turn it on when needed. And they've got that many players now in different positions and depth in positions now that they have now got all sorts of armoury, all sorts of quality now to start unlocking doors. And when I say that, mate, I say like, so if defences are playing with a back three and they try and press for the mid, we've now got a rotation to play against that now, where our midfield 10 drops to the 7, the 6 comes up to the 8, the 8 then goes to the wide position to try and help the fullback that's got to come inside. We've got that much, you know, we've got that many different answers now, mate. It's unbelievable. And I think the way the team are being moulded at the moment, I can only see it going the one way, which is better. And you mentioned very quickly there that, in my opinion, Sean, I don't think this Celtic team this season have got anywhere near out of second gear.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still sitting really comfortably. What would you say is the main kind of reason for that? Do you think it's a manager, or do you think the manager's implemented a few ideas with the team and he's just let the team basically off a leash and they're kind of developing as a collective as we go? What do you think's the kind of root cause of that?
I think there's a very good blend of both in there. I say that because you're sitting watching us playing home or away. You're sitting watching us, you can see there's a style there, the way we want to play football. But Ange Stone's in the touchline with his horns in his pockets, usually head up, freezing. He's no stoning, barking orders and everything. He trusts them. He's done his work on the training run. This is how we want to play. This is what we want to do in every game. And then, as you said, you've described it perfectly. There's a sort of free roam when they're actually playing. They stick to the principles of the formation, how we want to get the ball into the box, but at the same time, you're seeing players just all over the place all the time. Like against Livingston the other night, I know we played inverted fullback and Johnstone and Taylor cut into the middle, came up high, but there was one point that both of them were in the Livingston box, trying to pass the ball to each other. Now, I get inverted fullbacks will do that, but I never thought I'd see two of them at the same time. You would think one would go, one would stay, but for that, we created a chance, and then as soon as we lose the ball, the two of them are straight back. So I think there's a very good blend of Ange telling them, this is how I want to play, this is how you do it, but when you're out there, I'm not just restricting you to that. And I think that's quite clear with the way you see him on the sideline. As I said, he's no stalling, screaming at everybody and just kind of lets them go on with it. Fully trust the players, which is probably the biggest thing. The fact that he's just got so much trust in them, believing in their inability.
Yeah, and it's obviously what you're saying there about trusting the players. I listened to one of his interviews during the week there, and he highlighted that he's never seen the inside of the players' dressing room at Lennoxtown before. So he says, no, he says, that's Callum McGregor's domain. Mm-hmm. He says, and I'll let him, when he goes in there, he's a gaffer. So, well, he never used the kind of words, but it's words to that effect. It's just, that's the general, the census we're getting for that. That Ange, according to Ange, he's never been in a Celtic dressing room at Lennoxtown. I find that astonishing, Sean. The fact that he's been there, 19 months, and he's never been inside the actual, even on, like, when he get a tour, when he's come in as a manager. Obviously, I was going to say I don't think it was a tour beforehand because he's came for Japan, so obviously he's came for a COVID restriction to then. He's been the Celtic manager before he even touched down in Glasgow. So his tour would have been probably on the day, maybe his first, what they would call induction day, if you want to use a better word. But I think that I find that absolutely astonishing, the fact that he says he's never stepped foot in the players' dressing room, the home dressing room, as you would call it, at Lennoxtown. Why do you think that is?
I think he probably respects that that's a player space. Like, I've got my space, I can go into my office and shut the door. I want the same for my players. I want a place for them to go in and shut the door, where he's probably told his coaching staff as well, like, don't go in there, that's their space. If they want to get something off their chest and don't want to do it in front of us, Callum McGregor's in there. Even characters like Carter Vickers, Joe Hart are in there. They discuss it as a team, and I think that did shock me because I didn't know that he'd never been in there. But since Ange's time at Celtic, you've never seen anything come out that, there was a bust up in the dressing room, or they fell out of training. You've never heard, not even a rumour, anything like this. So I do think that's a really good thing. It's not something I expected. I thought he would be in there, maybe a couple of wee pointers here and there, but if he's saying no, that's just their space, then that's absolutely brilliant. I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was quite refreshing when I heard it myself, to be honest. The fact that, as you said, that the word trust gets brought up again there, because he must, give the players that sort of level of trust to, well, I'll stay out here, dressing room at Lennoxtown, but it's like when you step onto the training field, then this is when you come and you work hard for me, and we're led to believe, obviously, that the training's absolutely relentless. And obviously, I don't think they get much time for. It's not just walking in and you're getting a game of 5-a-sides with your mates, and no, we're here for attendance only, and no, they're there to get the sleeves up and get dirty, and they're working hard. And I think, to be fair, Sean, I don't know if you'll agree with us yourself, but I think you can see the fruits of that on the field now, because they're totally killing teams. Teams here, especially domestically, they can't get near us, they can't live with us. And I think the 5 substitutions is a big contributing factor as to why teams are really struggling to cope with us. When you look at their bench now, you look at the other night, just for example, it's absolutely scary. It's probably the best, it's the strongest Celtic squad I remember seeing maybe even since Martin O'Neill's team. But with Martin O'Neill's team, you always had that 1 or 2 guys like Steve Guppy, who I know he done well with Leicester, but when he came up here, did he really do well with Celtic? He was hardly seen. He played periodically here and there. And people might disagree with me here, but I just didn't think there was enough of him to say that no, he was a brilliant Celtic player, or he did that well. The guys like Bobby Pettit and Alan Thompson in front of him, so I think that showed you overall where he was. He came in just to help a squad, not necessarily to come in and improve that squad, first and foremost. But that's just an example of players like that were on the bench. Now, you've got guys on your bench now that you would say, he could start this game instead of him.
Aye, so doesn't it shock you if they start?
No. Like Aaron Moy never played on Wednesday. He never started on Wednesday. But again, I was like, right, okay, fair enough.
Aye.
But there is fans that have got their certain individual favourites, etc. And that's fine. But they're probably more disappointed than the actual fans that are just going, well, do you know what? The squad's that strong. I don't care who he plays. Because for me, I've sang his praises since even away last season. And Ryan, he's been eating humble pie now for a long time. There's crumbs all in his jackets if you look closely. About Greg Taylor, or as I call him now, wee Oxo. I think that he should get that on the back of his top. I think if there's enough people and I can start a petition, we'll get one signed and sent into Celtic for him, and hopefully the message gets to him to get that on the back of his top, because he's been absolutely different gravy this season, and that's why I called him that. I know people are probably going to say that's dead cheesy or that, but I don't care. It was all part of it. It was a bit of banter that's kind of took off a wee bit now for us. Do you know what I
mean? Aye.
Now there's a few people saying it. Well, that's it. Now there's a few people saying it back to us. Do you know what I mean? So, but no, he's been absolutely frightening. Tony Ralston, injury aside, anytime he comes in and plays, in my opinion, right, I've said to Ryan as well, Sean, in my opinion, I think he's been superb. He's took his game on a level again. His fitness levels went up a level. Because, let's be honest, Tony Ralston was probably one of the first players that we all thought, he's the first one that's going to get the elbow out the door. He's not really got a future, just because we're basing that on his stint at Dundee United, and then obviously St Johnstone. And both stints were led to believe the both individual sets of fans, I don't think, were too happy with his performances. So I didn't really see his performances at St Johnstone too well. I've only heard through the grapevine they weren't the greatest. But then again, a big change happened in his life as well. You hear his interview at the beginning when Ange came in, and his missus had a wee girl to him, and that changed his whole mindset and the way he thought about football. And he thought, no, I need to knuckle down here, and I need to get, I need to get going here. And I thought Ange gave him a brilliant platform, the way he did with everybody else, Sean, but he gave him a brilliant platform for development. Maybe a wee arm on his back, to say, look, I've seen you in training, I know you've got something, so maybe that was a wee confidence boost as well. But what's your thoughts on certain individuals of the team? Obviously, the the progress and the development of him up to now under Ange.
It's funny how before this you were mentioning about Ange when it's time in the dressing room and you brought up the fact that he was signed, flew straight in, so his first day here was straight to work. Don't know if you remember it too well. Celtic posted a video of Ange's first day and it showed like the private jet arriving at Lennoxtown, walking in, and he walks into the cafeteria. John Kennedy and Darren Strachan stand up and shake his hand. There was one first team player sitting in the cafeteria with his training gear on, and it was Anthony Ralston. Now, at the time, I had a laugh and a joke saying, "Oh, Jesus, like, the first player that guy's going to see is Tony Ralston sitting in front of him." I couldn't have been more wrong. So I think even just that, the fact that a new manager's came in, Tony Ralston showed, no, I'm going to knuckle down. He's in, nobody else is in. He's in there full gear on as if he'd been in the gym. So the fact that Ange's seen that, first of all, he wants to see, do you want to be here, yes or no? Right, he clearly does. Cool, I'm going to give you my time. And the way he's developed him, Taylor was a good player before Ange came in, but the way he's playing the now is unbelievable. Like, he's frightening right now. The fact that he came in, he's so used to left back. As we know, seasons before, Celtic's left backs have bombed it down the wing, cross the ball.
Yeah.
He's come in, he's played this totally different system. Tony Ralston, as you said, out on loan here and there. How many different ways of playing football is that boy had to learn? And the fact that he's took this on completely brand new. And as you were saying about guys on the bench, guys starting, if the team on Sunday came out and said Tony Ralston was starting, I wouldn't be panicking. I'd be like, cool, no problem. The fact that he's brought the boys to that level, just having such a good squad, and the development of Tony Ralston especially, you've got to take your hat off to him, because I was the same. I thought he'd be first at the door. But just don't even bother trying to get a wage, just cut ties with him, get rid of him. And I know everybody just thinks straight back to, his last minute goal at Ross County away. The amount of defensive challenges and everything he's done, that's probably one of his games, has been unbelievable. So hats off to him, and if all the players are going to progress like that, then it's going to be frightening.
Oh, absolutely, mate. And you were just saying about Tony Ralston there. This new kind of, I mean, the only team I've ever saw play the way we can now is Man City. There isn't many that try this inverted fullbacks and inverted wingers. And when the wingers go inverted, the fullbacks go high and wide, and it's absolutely mental. See, obviously, we could get right into it tactically, but we'd probably bore half the people that are watching us. Do you know what I mean? But people on the, right, guys, leave that for when you're in the studio with Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher and you want to do you're talking there. But no, when you go tactically, like when you set up, we set up with 3 different formations every game we play, because on the ball we're in a certain shape, half the ball we're in a certain shape, and there's a shape change between transition and one in if the ball gets turned over. But it's why, what really, it's took this long for us to get there. But you could see early doors, in terms of you're saying with Anthony Ralston, right? You could see early doors where we were going there with him, because look at his goal at Tynecastle the first game of last season.
Yep.
I know we lost, but you could see what he, I think he scored against, was it Dundee at Celtic? Was it Johnstone or Dundee at Celtic Party? Something similar as well. Same with the Hibs game. Hibs at Easter Road, he scored again, didn't he? We played in Black that night.
Aye.
It was Carter Vickers scored an on, I think Kyogo got the other one, wasn't it? And then the one up at Ross County. But this is what I'm saying, right? You've getting goals coming for Ralston, and then the other night here, you've got that volley for Greg Taylor.
Aye.
He's shooting it well now. That's what I'm saying.
Aye.
But and then he's goal at Tynecastle when we won 4-3. It's a different level. He's used to playing under Steve Clark And Steve Clark saying to him, right, you can't get a halfway line. He's going, how no? Because you'll end up with a nosebleed. That's how no. Because you've never been up that far on the pitch. But little did we know, up until recently, Greg Taylor actually used to be a number 6.
Aye.
So he started off as a midfielder. It's no surprises as to why he's so comfortable on the ball, Sean. Because when he runs forward with the ball, and this is the thing now, he's running forward with the ball. He's doing these step airs and taking people on, whether he's coming inside or he's gone wide, and then he's looking for a 1-2. So if he's getting the ball to my header, he's busting a gut to try and get the overlap and go beyond him and give him an overload. So he's either got a pass back to him or the ball's straight to Hattati, and then Hattati's looking for that forward pass all the time. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of your goals are all zipped across the box. But it's done at pace. It's done at that much of pace that the other teams cannot defend against it. Why? Because we've got 6 and 7 attackers in the box at a time, ready to kill the ball as soon as it comes in. You've got guys like Jota coming in at back post, Kyogo coming across the defender, from nowhere, like in a blink of an eye. His movement's frightening. You've got Abada with it goes for the jugular constantly. He's always in the right place as well, waiting for that ball to drop. The thing I've noticed with Angie's team as well, Sean, don't know about yourself, mate, but they're always picking up that second ball and they're always on top of it right away. And they're absolutely murdering teams. They're killing teams with it because of the speed that's in the team, the legs that we've got in the team. But now, for last season to now, we've built a muscular endurance, obviously throughout the training that's been implemented with the squad. But it's a certain type of player he's bringing as well. It's not just, this is the thing as well, a character. And it's that sort of type of technically hybrid type of player he's bringing in. That, and by the way, every player, apart from maybe Big Abelgard and Idaguchi just because of injuries, have all come in and they've all made some sort of contribution. And there's been no project signings, mate, which has been a total breath of fresh air. I don't know what your feelings are on that, but it just seems to be that everybody, especially recruitment, etc., they're all in the right place. They're all where they should be. But again, all that's all down to Ange Postecoglou. So you just, it begs to wonder that why is it took to now for the club now to be gone in a sort of modernised way? Why were we not doing this 10 years ago? Because I guarantee you, see if we were doing this 10 years ago, we'd have probably been in with a great chance of winning that 10 in a row.
Aye.
Because it looks like every one day, it's just going to get fresher and fresher and fresher. And okay, certain fans' favourites, etc., might need to move on to make profit for the club. I know, obviously, guys are going to moan because of the way the Juranovic deals went and the Giacomakis deals went, but obviously we don't know what's going on there. We can only imagine there's certain types of clauses in the contracts that they've been allowed to leave for the kind of figures. But guys like Hyung Gu, he's 21, Jota's in his early 20s, Abada's in his early 20s. There's still life in Kyogo, Carter Vickers. They're all on long contracts. Haskabanovic. It's absolutely frightening, mate.
The fact I know, like I know you're saying there about the age of the players, but you're looking at players I know. For example, Alistair Johnson, 24. The position he plays, he's got his best years ahead of him. The fact that he was playing for an MLS team and then starting at a World Cup, it's no disrespect to the MLS, but it's not as if you take the other side of the Canada team, you've got Alphonso Davies starting for Canada, who plays for Bayern Munich. Then you've got a guy who plays at Montreal, playing for Canada. So a lot of people have seen his potential. He's 24, and a lot of people go, but 24 is that kind of weird age. Should we not be going for somebody younger to build up and settle on? It's like, I would rather get guys in. I wasn't overly happy with the fee for Juranovic and potentially Giacomakis, but the fact that how much Juranovic cost us and what he's gone for, given his age, so it's not as if he's at 21 and it's always going to go for 20, 30 million, or these teams are going to throw this money at us. Slowly but surely, we're making profit on these guys, and the 4 transfers that we've just brought in, I think even the fee we'll get for Giacomattis covers they 4, so Juranovic one's profit. So I get the model used to be buy a young player, build them up, sell them on for profit. And a lot of people were questioning about the ages of the players we were signing, or there's no really be a sell-on fee. Well, even if you get a wee bit, and here's the most important bit, the day a job when they're here, like Giacomattis done, like, you'd only go and make £1 million profit on that. He could have left for free after the impact he had. Don't really care. So we're still in that model of we're buying players, we're going to build them up. As Ange told us, your favourites aren't going to stay, but the profit isn't going to be like Tierney money sort of thing. You're not going to see anything like that, but slowly but surely, and you look at the guys he's replacing them with, they're settling straight in. So it seems to be like a longer term plan, which I'm more than happy with, instead of just this quick flip. A guy's in for a year, sold, see you later. Like, it was good, but I much prefer the way we're going now. And as you said, if we'd have done this years ago, we probably would have won that team. And we'd probably be a lot better in Europe and all.
Because at that stage of Europe as well, we'd be more settled, etc. in the Champions League. I would imagine we'd have probably been doing a similar route to like Club Brugge, who have built themselves over a number of years. I think did they not win their group? Or was it, or did they narrowly no win it, but they finished second with kind of within a pointer? So, because they were in Atletico Madrid's group, weren't they?
That's right, because they didn't even get through.
No, they're out of Europe altogether. I don't even think they've made the Europa. So that's how far a fall for grace they've had. Teams like Juventus and stuff like that have fell right out of Europe as well. But no,
that's
as
was.
I say,
Juventus and Atletico were both in that group.
Aye, so it was,
Before the group starts, you're looking at that going, right, kill Juve and Atletico next. Show me the next group. If we did in the same route as them, I like it.
Aye. I mean, John, one of the commenters, one of the guys that commented, the other night, John, he made a good point in saying that, it would be good to have a similar recruitment strategy as Benfica, because they seem to find mega gems and sell them on for, look what I've just done with the boy Fernandes. I've sold him on to Chelsea for 105 million or something.
Right.
It's like 103 million quid, but 105 million euro or whatever the way it works out. I'm not too sure, but I mean, that's absolutely frightening, considering they probably got this guy for buttons. I mean, I remember, I don't know if you...
I think it was about 15 they'd opened for a year ago.
Right, I mean, that's buttons compared to what they've just sold them for as well.
Aye.
But you look through their list, I mean, I saw a list the other day, there's guys like David Luiz, who ended up winning everything, didn't he, really? With guys like the boy at Bernardo Silva, the big boy Raul Patricio, the goalie. I'm sure that other big boy, is it Jimenez, boys at Wolves?
Aye.
They sold him for big money, and it was like 20 odd million.
João Felix and all.
João Felix, he was 100 and I think he was 100 and I'm sure he was about, it was like 90 million quid, but it was like 100 and something euro. But now that Fernandes boys just broke that.
Aye.
But it's phenomenal. I mean, the kind of sums are absolutely phenomenal. Now everybody's probably that's watching us and listening in, they're all probably going to say the same thing. But we playing Scottish football. Aye, that's fair enough. But see, when you're established in the Champions League, but don't forget, we've been privileged this season, we're back in it. But we weren't in it for 5 years prior to this. So see when you become established, and when I'm saying established, I mean you're in it 2, 3, 4, possibly even 5 years in a row. I'm being probably I'm really wishful thinking here. But it's no beyond us if we can keep the right manager and the proper recruitment going and stay modernised, etc. Then anything is possible. But with this Celtic team now, I can see he's been in it the next couple of seasons at least. So consecutively, you're looking at maybe 2, 3 in the bounce straight away. Now that's only going to take us one direction, which is miles away for the rest of Scottish football, because you've got that money then being generated every season. You've then got you've got that luxury of you've got an extended summer. You're not back early for like the qualifiers, etc. You can settle a bit in the summer. You can do your recruitment early, know what you're doing, set up properly, organise a decent pre-season trip that's going to generate some funds as well. And when I say that, mate, I'm saying maybe I'm just going along the lines we've signed, what's that, 6 Japanese players now. So, like see your Man Cities, your Real Madrids here all announcing, Japan tours and this and that. How can we not do that? That's no beyond us, Sean, either, in my opinion. So, how can we not go and, go on tour and maybe go and play Angie's old team, who's obviously been managed now by Kevin Muscat. He's probably known well to the mob across the Waterface. I don't know how well, right enough, because I don't even think he played I think he played 2 games of 5s with the team the whole time he was there, if he was lucky. But that's another story. But they will know who he is. But that's what I'm saying, that, how can we not announce that? So again, Sean, you're looking at, there's a Celtic have now become more of an attractive commodity all over the world, because Angie's went and bought players for markets now that's going to now generate that interest. So guys that, are Japanese who might not be big Celtic fans, or might not even really know Celtic that much. I would strongly doubt it enough, because we are a worldwide club. We're known all over the world. Anywhere you go nowadays, you see one of these, or what you're wearing, or somebody's kicking about with something on. So we've kind of seen everywhere now. But like I say, the Japanese guys, might be just everyday delivery guys or taxi drivers or whatever. They might be big Maeda followers. So they're going to start tuning in because they, Maeda plays for Celtic, or they might be Kobayashi followers, or they might be Awata followers, or Hatati, or Kyogo, and the same now with the Korean, South Koreans. They might love this guy, who, by the way, the boy is well thought of in his own country. I think they think he's going to be the next sort of Sun Min-sung to come out of South Korea. And just as I say that there, Hyung Min Sung did speak about him recently, and that's what he says. He was a kind of a small freckle away from being selected for the South Korean national team for that World Cup there, if it wasn't for a small knock he took at the end of the season. I think he took a knock in his ankle, and it put him out, sort of thing, and it stopped him from getting selected. A bit similar to what do you call him? Kyogo. No, sorry, Awata, sorry. He was nearly selected for the Japanese team. Again, he got an injury.
That's right, he took a knock as well, didn't he?
He took a knock as well, and obviously that's why. But he was a J-League Player of the Year last season. And obviously people are saying, right, we've not seen him, he's came here. But he's came here because he's not played for a wee while, so he's getting his fitness up. There will be times where he's going to come into the team and definitely no going to be here to, sit on the bench, etc. But I don't know your thoughts there, mate, in terms of like say a tour. But obviously, that's the last wee bit on this, mate, and then we'll move on to obviously Sunday's game and then the rest of the show. But in terms of a tour to generate some funds, probably know that we're in desperate need of money. But could you possibly see that maybe being on the cards down the line as we go, especially the way we're going under Ange?
100%. The fact that obviously with the Japanese boys, like choosing for an example, if we were to organise, obviously we went across to Australia for Ange's homecoming. Everton took the place of another mob, but we went across there and you've got fans from everywhere coming across to watch the games. Now that was Australia for Ange, and look at the reception we got, the amount of Celtic fans that turned up to all the events and all that. Could you imagine taking all your Japanese players back to Japan for a formal tour? The team wouldn't even get out of the hotel. Like, it would be absolutely mental. Like, if that's the reception we got in Australia for Ange, then what would it be like going to Japan with these boys? It would be absolutely nuts. A lot of big teams do tours of Asia. The likes of Bayern Munich, Man City, Man United, they always go to Asia. It might not be every year, but it's once every couple of years. And because of the times the kickoffs are on, we're flicking through, or there's the Man United game, pre-season friendly that's on in Asia. Stadium sold out. It's just Man United taps everywhere. So I would love to see that. Potentially this summer, I'd love to see it. Some form of tour of Japan, even if it's a game or two against two Japanese teams. As you said, I know, it could be guys or a Japanese guy watching the World Cup. That Maeda, that goal, I absolutely love him. Who does he play for? Celtic. Or they're coming to Japan to play against some other team. Might be his team, might be a rival team. I'm going to go and watch them. Then before you know it, he's ordering a Celtic tap. And then it just goes and goes. So I would love to see it sooner rather than later, especially with the Japanese boys we've got. And I think we are the size of club that if we were to go announce something like that, then the interest would be there.
No, definitely. Because like I say, we've got fans all over the world, so it's not as if, we want to generate crowds and obviously Ange, I think he's well thought in Japan as well for the time he was there. So that alone, I think would generate a crowd itself. And you've, like you said earlier, you've got Maeda and Awata and Kyogo, and these guys have all won the J League before. So, and Hatate, he came to us as a champion. So, because Kawasaki Frontale won the league just before he signed for us. But no, as I say, mate, I think you're spot on, and I think we've got fans all over the world, which is, again, by signing these guys just makes us a bigger, more attractive commodity, in my opinion. But just before we go any further, mate, a couple of wee comments. We've got a comment for Hail Hail, and he says, "Hail Hail, lads." So, hail hail to hail hail.
A lot of hail hails in there.
I hope you're having a hail hail Friday night, my man. And everything's going well. We've got Joseph commenting in. He's just made us talk about what we were saying there. He says, "Hail hail JP. The reason Celtic never got to 10 is players were here too long. This happened the first 9 in a row. Players get complacent, old, unfit, and just players haven't turned up, basically, in Lennon's team." No, I would agree with that. I don't know about yourself, Sean, but I think the problem there was players overstayed their welcome, in my opinion. We spoke about it earlier. You've got to stay that progressive way, and obviously freshen up your team every so often. And that didn't happen. And we were trying to go with the old guard, as they were called then. I seen one of the interviews the other day with Jota. I thought it was hilarious. The guy says to him, "You're part of the old guard," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, says, how can you say that? He says, I'm just here. He says, surely Callum and James and...
Aye,
like,
I love how we kicked McGregor under the bus for that one.
aye, he just threw the
calling him the
captain
old one.
straight under a bus, aye. He's like, surely they've got to be the, you know, the old
Aye,
guard
I did
before
like
us. But I thought that was a snappy comeback for Jota. But no, I get Joseph's point there. I think I agree with him. I think we needed a freshen up, and it should have happened way before it did.
As Ange said,
what's
when
your
he
thoughts
took
on
over,
that one, mate?
that team came to the end of a cycle. No, that didn't all just... obviously when you won 9 in a row and all that, but
yep,
you could see it coming. That team was coming to an end of a cycle.
Yep.
And that proved in the players that were signed in that 10th season, John Joe Kenny, Shane Duffy and all that, you were just desperate to get bodies in. But there wasn't any proper plan in place to build up to that year.
Mm-hmm.
We should have strengthened in a position of strength, and we didn't. We thought we were just going to win it again with the players that we had. The cycle obviously did come to an end when Ange came in. He's totally replaced a lot of the team, brought in new players. But if the way we're going to now, two mainstays, well, you can kind of say that, Juranovic, Giacomakis, 18 months, they're already away, they're replaced. But keeping that cycle fresh, if that's the way it's going to now, it seems to be going to be every 18 months, two regular players out, new ones in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it, rather than a couple of years down the line, hoping that they'll pull you across the line for the 10.
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't, but we seem a lot more better prepared now.
Aye, we seem, like I say, I think we've got a manager now who's that proactive now. He's maybe a window or maybe even two windows ahead of, where maybe the fans' heads are. We're probably just thinking, oh, we need a goalkeeper, or we need a centre-back, or we need this, we need that. Ange's probably already done a summer recruitment already. And he's maybe even now starting to look at next January as to where's the squad shaping up. So Ange would probably... For example, you'll probably know who right away who's either going to be transfer marketed or, he's got contingency plans coming. Just say if somebody comes in and wants to buy Matt O'Reilly or Cameron Carter-Vickers or like Jota or, because eventually some of these guys will move on to pastures now. It's inevitable, mate. They're gone. Eventually, unfortunately, we play in a league that we don't play at Anfield or Old Trafford or the Etihad or, the King Power Stadium or St James's Park. We don't go to these stadiums every other weekend. Unfortunately, it's places like Dingwall and Pittodrie and when you do win the title, and you just say for talking sake, they won the treble, right? If they ever did under Ange, again, no, again under Ange, but again in quick succession for the 4 in a row that we did win. Because, by the way, to me, that doesn't get spoke about often enough either. We won 4 trebles in the bounce.
12 trophies out of 12.
12 trophies out of 12, yep. It doesn't get mentioned enough. Albeit we had to wait for one of them into the next season. It was the Scottish Cup because of COVID. But we did... we definitely done it. And these players get to a point, Ryan, I was going to call you Ryan now, how dare I? Sean, no, what it is, mate, it's the fact that I'm always used to chatting away with Ryan. So the night that I'm in a wee bit of uncharted waters because it's a kind of relatively newer face that's on me, so I do apologise. I'll give myself a slap when we finish, mate, know what I mean?
I was going to say I've been called worse, but
aye,
I'll be careful what I say now.
Aye, he might be watching us, so no want him his weekend to be. He's already getting done for eating humble pie. See, if he's watching us, he would have been laughing at that earlier, probably. But as I say, so the top of the transfer window and where we were, if Ange's already got something in place. He'll have a recruitment team working on, targets or guys that he could potentially have contacted when he knows that. Because Ange seems to find these loopholes in the contracts. If you look at the Kobayashi, I seen a source, so it's going to cost you $3 million. 2 days later, we were getting him for hee-haw.
Aye.
So you're just like, the media, I know, the guesswork with the media is scary. They just go, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. Giakoumakis is leaving. Right, we're going to link him with Kevin Nisbet. Or we'll say that, we'll make up that they've asked for permission to speak to Kevin Nisbet. No, we didn't. And I don't mean to disappoint Kevin if he's actually watching us. Kevin's a good player. He's playing at a good level in the Scottish Premier League, but he's I don't think he's in the thoughts of Ange to come into the Celtic team in any time in this near future, or maybe even at all. So that's just my opinion, Sean. And what I was going to say as well, the individual players get to a certain point, they win the trophies, then eventually, what else is there for them to do here? There's only so many times that they can, maybe play in the Champions League, but realistically, the way we are in the Champions League and the way we are in Europe normally, it might get better. By the way, there's still plenty of room for development under this manager, but you've got to look at the way history shows. We've not had a great European campaign, so we're knocked out of Europe. Then they've got to wait another year to, another season for it to kick in again. These guys want to be playing at a right good level, and they've got aspirations. Like O'Reilly's still a young man, but he's got aspirations to play with Denmark. It might be, Sean, the Danish manager turns around and says to him, you're not going to get a game with Denmark playing with that Celtic team, or you're not going to get a game with Denmark playing against St Mirren or Kilmarnock. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the teams, because again, they're playing in the Scottish Prem, they're playing in the top flight of Scottish football. But Matt might need to take himself to a Brighton or a Southampton, or teams of that ilk to just make that next stage. And I know that might sound crazy to the people watching us, but in reality, see, especially if you bring in guys from down south, right, and they're from England, 9 times out of 10, if they come to anything and these guys are good players, I'll give you an example. Like the big boy Ivan Toney, right? If Celtic were to sign him, had signed him, at some point that big fella, the way he has now, the way he's been, he's been in and out of training squads and the rest of it, he would have had aspirations to play for England. Same way Fraser Foster did, same way Gary Hooper did, same way, when they start making a wee bit of a name for themselves up here and they're scoring goals, you've got aspirations to then take your career on a level, especially if you're still young enough. So, are you going to get a game for England playing up here? No. Because all you've got to do is look at Alan Thompson. He got 1 cap for England while he was here. And by the way, he was here under a tremendous team under Martin O'Neill. A team that battered European giants at Celtic Park. A team that turned Parkhead into a fortress, especially in Europe back in the day. Well, not a lot of teams came to Celtic Park and beat us. We get good results against even English opposition back then as well. Martin O'Neill pioneered that. He sort of turned Celtic's fortunes that way a wee bit. So, and Alan Thompson only still managed 1 cap for the England team. And even then, see if you remember it, Sean, it was a kind of throwaway gesture. It was a kind of, right, no, what we need to get him in so that everybody will shut up about it now. Because I think the English media started putting a wee bit of pressure under Ericsson, and he started to, and it was a kind of, in my opinion, it was a kind of throwaway gesture. It was a kind of, we need to get him in, shut him up, and then that's it. We'll no need to do it again. And they brought him on for a sub just to get him his cap. I actually think he set up a goal, didn't he? He set up Jermaine Defoe.
think
They
so.
played in the red. It was like a red strip they played in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they played Sweden. I'm sure it was Sweden he played. If anybody watching us, by the way, that actually knows that stat, can you just let me know? Because it'll give me a wee check of sanity there, because I really do think I know you're laughing, Sean, but I do think I'm really sure it was Sweden he played against, and he set up the goal. I'm sure he set up a goal. I can't remember if England get beat 2-1 or they won 1-0, but I'm sure it was him that set up the goal. He put through the ball that Jermaine. I'm sure it was Jermaine Defoe that scored, if my memory serves me right. But again, that cap he got was a throwaway gesture. So it's not being disrespectful. It's not being bad. It's not, I'm not down on MD that, plays up here. But that's just the nature of the way your game's looked at for down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You're looked at as a Mickey Mouse league. I know people are going to take umbrage hearing that, but that's the way they look at us down there. So like say,
good news for you, big man.
What?
It was against Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
It was that red kit. 60 minutes ago. It was a friendly. So they were chopping and changing all different players. Like it was unlimited subs.
Right.
1-0 defeat to Sweden. Aye.
Right, I knew it was either 2-1 or 1-0. I knew I couldn't remember if England won 1-0 or they get beat 1-0 or it was 2-1. Right, okay. But I'm
never
sure
done a quiz with you, by the way. That was good, man.
What's that?
Never done a quiz against you. That was good.
Thanks very much. I've got I can, especially when because obviously, I mean, Alan Thompson was, everybody probably had Henrik Larsson in their head, but Tomo was one of my favourites in that team. So when he get that call up, I paid attention. He's, that game, and I distinctively remember them wearing that red strip. And he did get on, and I'm sure he put a ball through. It might have been offside, but I was sure he put a ball through to Defoe, and Defoe scored. But it might have been offside. I don't know. But it was a zip ball. The way Celtic play now, it was a kind of zip ball across the box. It cut out the centre half. It went between the centre half and the goalkeeper, through the gap, and Defoe had it in. But I can't remember. Obviously, they get beat 1-0, so he must have been offside. But yeah, that's what happens with young players, especially younger guys. They've got aspirations to test themselves against different types of what. I don't want to say bigger teams because there's no many bigger in Celtic. So, but they've got aspirations, Sean, to go and test themselves against maybe a better quality of opposition week in and week out than what's on show up here. And I know that the Scottish game's developed a good bit. There's good players up here. There's been good managers up here. But it's just not at a level of... I mean, even Brighton, they've got guys like Cairo and Mitoma playing with them, and the boy's quality. I think he's got some of the best stats in the recent months in England. He's scored some amount of goals, and you're talking about guys that are getting bought for big money. They paid £3 million for this guy.
Aye.
Frightening. So, I don't know what your thoughts are there, mate, but in terms of the overall, the thoughts of the younger boys, maybe they're not in a hurry, but it doesn't stop potential suitors coming in and try to take these boys away from you. And then again, these boys, they have, in my opinion, Sean, I think these boys have got aspirations to go and test themselves at a kind of better level.
Aye, totally agree with you. You also need to look at it from the point of view, like a lot of people talking about when players leave, you always hear the phrase, he's going to regret it, he's not going to get bigger than us. That's easy for us to say as Celtic fans. These guys don't grow up as Celtic fans. This is another club to them. Did they fall in love with the place, this and that, but in terms of progressing their career, as you said, for international call-ups, for how far they want to go in Europe, potentially an even bigger move to a bigger club. If you take Van Dijk, for example, or what's he got to Southampton for? look at what the guys achieve now. Do you know what I mean? The way you were speaking about moving down south as well, obviously you're talking about there's no disrespect to the opponents in Scotland, but I think of how many teams in England get into Europe every year. So not only a league game that you're playing against a European team, but you've also got a better chance of getting into Europe at one of these teams with the amount. So it's very easy to see why. Kieran Tierney's an example as well. What is he leaving for? I thought he wanted to win the 10. In my opinion, Arsenal are going to win that league this year. The way they're playing football. I know he's not playing as regular, but he's seen that as the right time for his own career to do that. And
do you think Celtic saw that as well, Sean? Do you think Celtic saw that as well in terms of, do you think maybe they saw in the corner in terms of the potential injuries that he was going to get, and they maybe struck when the iron was hot?
Potentially, aye. Because stories we've heard about him, he's even come out and said it himself about the type of injuries that he gets. So, did we see that as the peak value for him and we need to take it? Or did somebody sit back, have a discussion with him and went, right, do you know what? You're a young boy, you've come through here, you're absolutely loved here, but for the sake of your career, if you want to take that next step, take the injuries out of it, if you want to take the next step in your career, for what we believe you can go and achieve, then now's the right time. So, as much as it's annoying when you see players do that, or what's he going there for, this and that, I've got a lot of respect for players that are selfish in that regard, for they look after their own career. Your football career could end the next day. To get an injury in training, that should have done. So, I've got no issues with guys that, even if it is just purely money motivated, or I'm going to England to get treble, quadruple my wage, good luck to you. If I got offered quadruple my wage, working at a different place where I work now, of course I would go. But, don't really know what else to say on that. Just
no, it's certainly a massive carrot to dangle in front of your face, and like you said yourself, mate, especially if you've got a young family or aspiring to have a young family in your near future, it's quite hard to turn that down, mate. If Celtic are only maybe willing to offer you 25 grand, but Southampton come in and say, well, we'll give you 65 grand, mate, your head's turned. And when I say turned, I mean you're like Beetlejuice here. Your head's spinning, definitely. And like I say, it's hard to turn that down, and you hit the nail on the head, mate, when you say that a lot of these guys aren't the direct Celtic fans. They might come to the club and fall in love with the club when they see it, but they've not got that instantaneous emotional attachment that we are all born into. So it's all right for us to say for a distance. Definitely. I mean, it's all right for us to say for a distance, you hear guys saying, he's got to regret that, and the grass isn't green on the other side. They're not going to know that until they go and experience something else. Because they've done everything here. Like Kieran Tierney won every trophy up here, and he done it about 3 times there. So, what is left for Kieran Tierney today? Because in my opinion, I don't think Kieran Tierney takes his game on a level staying here. I think he does it playing against that wee bit better quality week in and week out. And who knows? I mean, obviously, the new, he's up against a guy in Zinchenko that's also, in my opinion, a class act. So that's why he's not getting on the team. It's not to do with Kieran Tierney's actual ability itself. But he's just an example there of one of many that's, moved on for good profit for us. But back to the league business for us, mate. Obviously, St Johnstone, we take them on Sunday. An early kick-off. I think it's 12 o'clock, isn't it, the kick-off?
Aye.
Happy days. Sunday, 12 o'clock kick-off. Way up to Perth. Shame for all the fans that have got to travel, because they'll be travelling for about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to get there. It's mental. It's crazy, in my opinion. But again, the TV pulls all the strings there, and and it's the same with this. cup tie against St Mirren next Saturday at Celtic Park. It's at 5:30. That's absolutely outrageous. Like, who is it? Did he just sit in a dark room and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and hit the button? And that's what
The
the time
5:30
is. And
kick-off.
that's on a Saturday.
See, for me personally, I stay 10-15 minutes for parkhead. So to me personally, cool, no problem.
No,
Every
but no,
Saturday night
everybody
game.
has got that
But
luxury.
guys that are travelling into Glasgow first and then across to Celtic Park, a Saturday night, the time they're doing back to travel back home is peak time at Glasgow City Centre.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Not took any of that into consideration.
And
Absolutely
that's the
wild.
thing, they don't. They just, they fleece the fans all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they just leave it to the fans. It's all right, they're all mad supporters. They'll deal with it, and that's it.
Aye.
It's mental, but again, this coming Sunday, 12 o'clock kick-off. But one thing is I find absolutely astounding before we actually get in and talk about the actual fixture itself is the fact that, again, they're playing before us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ryan the other night said there's a start. We've only played at the same time as one another 3 times this season. And they've played before us. This is just an example. I don't know the actual stat. So
Mm-hmm.
that is watching is, I don't know the numbers right. But my fellow man Ryan himself told me to start the other night, and I can't remember it word for word. But I do remember that bit, that we've only played the same time as one another domestically 3 times this season so far. And I think the stat, just say for talking sake, the stat, it's a mental stat, like 11 out of 12 times they've played before us.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely mental. If you think back after the World Cup, I think the first 3 or 4 games, they kicked the ball the day before us.
Did they not kick off on a Thursday night or something?
They
Something
played Tibbs. They played Tibbs at Ibrox on a Thursday
That's
night.
what it was, aye.
And the rest of the league didn't start till the Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Why did all the league not just begin on the Saturday like the way it was supposed to? And apparently they're led to believe that it's a computer that works this thing out. I don't know if it's an internal laptop for across the water that's doing these fixtures and doing these times, but it's absolutely mental, man. It's like, again, you know, they're playing at 3 o'clock on Saturday, so they've got a chance right away to reduce the deficit on the 9 points. We don't play to the Sunday, but they've hit us with a 12 o'clock kick-off at Perth.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. Why not make it 2 o'clock or something like that, or at least give the fans a chance to properly get there and arrive like at a normal time. Why have us kicking off dead early?
Mm-hmm.
Half the players will still be half sleeping. You picture we
You
still
think
had
his
David.
supporters are getting up there without... You think his supporters are getting up without motors and part of a supporters bus, public transport, trains and all that? You're not getting to Perth for 12 o'clock on a Sunday. You need to go on a Saturday night.
It's mental. The people need to book hotels and Premier Inns and all that, as you say, on Saturday to go there. But you picture we still had somebody like David Fernandez playing with us, and he was to start the game. He always looked like he was dragged through the hedges backwards. He always looked like Paddy McCourt after the stag do. So
I know, I really don't get that.
It'd be like a half-shot knife.
If they were going to say, look, for TV, we're going to need to have one of your games at 12 on a Sunday, cool. Make that St Mirren, make that Livingston, somewhere that's very close by to us. No a way up to Perth. It's not as if it's just a wee tiny straight road to it. Do you know what I mean? It's wild.
No, because I remember one of the boys saying that Perth's not that far away. I said, aye, I wouldn't like to walk it. Because you're not making the game on Sunday. You need to start walking it now. But the fixture itself, mate, in terms of the opposition, obviously we know what the game was like the last time we were up there. What do you think yourself? I know a good result the other night. The Motherwell beat, won it 2-0.
Motherwell 2-0, aye.
At Firth Park, so they're off the back of that. But the last time we played them at Celtic Park, they were off the back of a run of games. I think it was like 4 games in the bounce they lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could have hit them at Celtic Park, and then they had a couple of wee dodgy results after that. But they've picked up a couple of results the last couple of weeks. But in terms of yourself, mate, what kind of game are you looking, or what kind of game are you thinking it's going to be on Sunday?
I think it'll be quite a tough challenge on Sunday. One being, we've already heard comments about the pitch and everything up there, sort of thing. So you're presented with that straight away. Obviously they got a result against Motherwell the other night when they beat them 2-0, but before that I think it was 5 or 6 when they bounced, they lost in the league. But watching stuff like Sports Scene, looking back in some highlights, seeing them, they weren't playing that bad. So got a lot of respect for Callum Davidson. I quite like the way he sets up his football. Players would run through a bit more for him, I think. So it's a good challenge for us, but especially like when we went away to Dundee United, I know they're down at the bottom now, but they were on a decent wee run, and we went there, we had to dig in, we came away with a 2-0, aye. But I think it's probably very much the same. As long as we turn up, we'll get the 3 points, but it's not going to be the same as when we beat them 4-0 at Parkhead. We're not going to walk out of the tap from them. I think they've got a bit about them, and especially the fact that they need to get a result. It's not as if they don't get a result on Sunday, he's sacked. I'm not saying that, because that's no thing. But I think they're going to dig in a bit, make it tough for us, but fully believing us to still come away with 3 points no matter what.
I think obviously they won their appeal with Nicky Clark for last weekend, which was a shambles, absolutely terrible. And obviously they got a penalty given against them as well at the weekend, which again was a shambles, an absolute shambles. And again, in my opinion, the man to blame for that was, and this was down to guesswork, was this man here.
Wee Wally.
Or Ur Wally, as he's best known as. Ur Wally. Because he's known now as the kind of the numpty of Scottish football refereeing. It's just a shambles, Sean. And he's a main man. He's your man as well. It was also in the VAR room when we played them at Ibrox, and with the Conor Goldson incident as well. And by the way, I'll tell you something right now. I know McGregor's ready to chuck it at the end of the season. If they need a new goalkeeper, by the way, they've had plenty of additions so far. Wow. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. They're the only team that this league that gets away with playing with 2 goalies.
Any man in.
That's what it's like. I think they just play with a backseat. And, that doesn't matter who hits it with their horn. It's an absolute shambles. It's just the guesswork for Colin last week was just a shambles. And I know you mentioned Callum Davidson there. Callum Davidson, he's been really complimentary to us as well, because he said this is the best Celtic side he's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Callum played against a Celtic team that stopped 10 in a row under Wim Jansen. He played with St Johnstone then. And he's also played, I think he played under us when Anil was there as well. Played against us. So these guys are there's a few managers now came forward to the league now starting to kind of be complimentary about it and they're trying everything they can to stop Celtic from playing. But again, mate, you said there, if we turn up, there's only going to be one outcome, and I'm a firm believer in that as well because, like I says at the very start, we've got a lot of firepower now, Sean. A lot of answers. It doesn't matter. I think teams now need to hope for us to play the way we did at St Mirren when we get beat. And just not be at it. Because now we've got far too many players in my squad, and like we said earlier, the bench, there's far too many players now to, if one or two are not at it, we'll get away with that because the other ones, will come in and do well. But I think with a Celtic team, you can see they've got a lot of hunger and a lot of desire. And they've got a will to be successful. And you can tell they're willing to run through a steel door for Ange.
Aye, definitely.
And even the new signings, like the boys that have played so far, like Kobayashi, Alistair Johnson, Iwata looks comfortable. The boy I've not really seen much of the boy, but he looks really good in terms of his movement. He looks quite sharp. He looks very strong. I looked up the other night, for the first time obviously seeing him up close. He's got the same build as Carter Vickers.
I know.
And
I couldn't believe the building when I seen him.
He's a centre forward. I went, wow, his physique is unbelievable. But no, I think in terms of Sunday, mate, I think we turn up, we take care of business. Obviously, I'd imagine the Celtic team will travel up there on a Saturday, probably.
Aye.
And that way they're up there and prepared to A, be up early, and B, obviously get ready for the game. But I think, as you said, St Johnstone are probably going to look to make it stuffy for us, try and nullify what we bring. But personally, I don't see... I can see them maybe slowing us down in terms of it might not be a high-scoring game, but I think... I don't like to say too much because the last time me and Ryan done this, we ended up on a St Mirren's fan podcast, getting showed up as a... Oh, Celtic are going to do this, mob, and blah, 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 and words of that effect. It wasn't exactly the words, but I don't want to say too much in case there's a St Johnstone podcast out there getting ready to pounce. But if Celtic turn up, mate, then I think there's quite possibly is only going to be the one outcome, which is a Celtic victory, excuse me. I don't know about yourself there, mate, in terms of team-wise, will he make changes? Will he try and keep it similar? Again, it's Ange we're talking about. He might throw a curveball the way he likes to now and again. So I wouldn't be surprised for that. I would be prepared for all eventualities, mate.
Definitely. I think I've got to the point now, personally. I wouldn't want to say, this is the team I want to see the next game, because I could be completely halfway, I could be completely wrong. But at the same time, if I said, I'd like to see this team on Sunday, and it's completely different, I'm still going to be happy because of the squad we've got. So, as I said in his press conference today, people see games, we don't see every day in training behind the scenes as a player looking a wee bit more tired than usual, this and that. That's why we've got this squad. So, full trust in Ange. Whatever team he picks on Sunday is what he believes is going to be the best team to do the result. And also the fact that he even looks ahead to the full 90 minutes. Or say, for example, Jota's not been at 100% in training. I'm going to keep him on the bench and I'm going to make sure we finish strong with him in the park. So I've got no doubt whatsoever in Ange, and aye, there's no point in me trying to second guess who the team's going to be, and I never complain anymore because it's a 16-man game now, isn't it? So,
well, that's it. And like you says, mate, sometimes it's not about the starting 11; it's about the team that finishes the game as well. I know Brendan Rodgers was a great believer in that sort of saying as well. So, but no, like I says, mate, we look forward to the game on Sunday. And again, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what team it plays, Sean. I think they've all proved, especially under this manager, they've all proved more than capable when they're asked to come in and carry out the duties that the manager requires. So I've got no. I do know who'll definitely be playing though, Kyogo, because he seems to be the main man that's starting every game now. I would actually hazard a guess that Greg Taylor will play as well. The rest of the team, Ange can jiggle about and do what he wants, but they're the two I would say, and probably Joe Hart, unless he's injured or whatever. Touch anybody's no, but they're the kind of three guys I would say Ange is going to select 9 times out of 10, unless another eventuality comes in. Carter Vickers maybe as well, and then it's a battle between the rest of the team. But I'm not going to predict the rest of the team because, as you say, you could throw a couple of curveballs in and totally throw us off. We could start Turnbull right out of blue and go, "Oof, where'd that come from?" Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to, because we know what he's like. You can throw in a surprise, but again, it doesn't surprise us because they come in and they 9 times out of 10 they perform at a really good level, mate.
Aye. The term curveball seems to be for other managers and other teams to surprise them, but for us, for this like Ange and stuff like that, it isn't a curveball. It's just how good our squad is. So,
aye, absolutely. And like I say, they've got a lot of answers and a lot of firepower, mate. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. Are you going?
No,
me either. Unfortunately, I don't go to a lot of the away games, just due to other commitments, etc. So nowadays, you'll never get a ticket for a love of your money for the games because it's all balloted now, innit? So it's got to be very hard unless you know somebody that knows somebody's budgie's granny's dug that can maybe get you a ticket. Then you've no chance. But no, this brings us on to what I call my favourite part of a Friday night, mate. It's this wee part here.
Goal!
The unrestricted goal rush. Here we go, mate. A couple of belters here for you. Start us off. Gewett Pittodrie, Aberdeen and Murrow. 2 teams, in my opinion, that are going through a wee bit of a spell now that certainly isn't pretty for both. Maybe more one than the other. But Aberdeen, obviously, we all know about Aberdeen's woes just now. Last couple of results haven't went Murrow's way either. And I know their manager was talking this week about, you know, senior players of the squad have came to him, says they're still with him, etc. You know, they're still there, but he's like, no, well, there's no point in you telling me. I need you to go and show me when we're on the field. So that's a kind of, I don't know, it's a kind of sit on the fence for that one, and it could be a damp squad by the way the 2 teams have been performing. I'm actually going to call it as a draw because I don't think either of the 2 teams are playing well, although both have made new signings. New signings for one club have been made with a football monitoring board. If that makes sense to anybody that's listening in here, then please.
I think it makes sense to them.
Please try and educate me because I have never heard of that in my puff. A football monitoring board is making decisions for the team and the first team. Wow. And by the way, talk about a football monitoring board for Aberdeen. What they done to Jim Goodwin, I know that, you know, his days were, you know, ended and that was it. What they done to him at Easter Road, in my opinion, was absolutely shocking. They should have had another member of staff accompanying the guy out of the stadium for Aberdeen. He was left to walk the full length of Easter Road pitch from one end to the other. And that video you see him, you know, with it ducked and kind of no want to look at anybody and players out doing their cool down. And he's walking across the pitch. I thought that was shocking, Sean. I really did for Aberdeen. And that Dave Cormack, he loves a wee statement and he loves an interview, doesn't he? Because he's never off the camera now.
Loves a camera in his face.
I've never known a chairman to do so many interviews in my puff. They're normally all hiding and away doing other things. You'd never see Michael Nicholson out doing any pressures for us. He loves
That
it.
interview he done after that, I was a fan back in the 80s. I used to sit up there. Nobody cares, mate. Nobody cares about that right now. Nobody state your teams in. And the fact that you've just let a manager walk away with Maisty, I wasn't laughing at him because I thought that was quite, as you said, that was quite a sad end. That was quite bad, the way they done that. But the guy's just been humiliated, and you're standing there talking about how you're a fan that used to sit in the terrace. Why are you not walking across with him before you stand there? Unbelievable, man.
Why is the players no? Why is the players no? The guys that let him down, the guys that were on the field letting him down in the last few games, and under his tenure, why were they no doing interviews? Why was Johnny Hayes no doing it? Because he's one of the senior members of the squad. Why was Graham Shinney no out doing it?
Anthony Stewart, club captain.
Anthony Stewart, club captain, who obviously is no longer with him now. Just goes to show you where they actually are sitting. In terms of that fixture, mate, what's your thoughts here?
I agree with you. Draw, purely for the fact I can't say one is going to win. So I'll go with a draw.
No, I know, because it's dead hard, isn't it? You can't. It's going to come back to bite us, we see this. One of them's going to win now. But it's dead hard
to say. It's impossible to say that. It's impossible to turn around and say I think both teams will lose. With how bad the two of them are now. Out
of the two teams, and I'm only going with my thoughts here, I can see Motherwell winning before I can see Aberdeen winning.
I agree with
Just sheerly because Motherwell brought in Jack Aitchison, they brought in John Obika, they brought in a couple of players before the death of Windy. I know Aberdeen did as well. But eventually the guys are going to, it's going to click in the first team. Along with guys like Van Veen and, the boy McKinstry and other boys that are there. And they brought in that Japanese at Danziki. So eventually it's going to click. These guys will come in, they'll settle, they'll get used to playing his way or the way he's trying to play because they've got an identity in Motherwell. When you do watch them, you can see what they're trying to do. They want to pop the ball about and they just don't actually have the manpower to do it the way he wants them to do it. Unfortunately. And they're not a club that can go and throw millions of pounds at it, which is a shame. But out of the two teams there, is what we're saying. Motherwell's the first one I can say. If there is going to be a victory, it's going to be them. But because of the way the two teams are playing now, I'm not going to predict a winner. I'm going to say I think the game will finish a draw because the two teams haven't been great. Aberdeen's probably been the worst of the two of them, to be honest. They're never going to live that result down now. They're always going to be known as a team that get beat with Darvel. And that's no disrespect to Darvel either, because Darvel were absolutely different class that night. But Aberdeen should not be losing to a team like Darvel, mate. It just shouldn't be happening. Especially a team that, not that long ago, they were touted as being the third best team in Scottish football. Well, not getting beat with Darvel or no. But they're a team in sort of, they lack leadership, in my opinion, all over. In the dressing room, management. They've got a football monitoring board interfering. Dave Cormack, I'm hearing, is in and out the dressing room talking to players, and you can't have that. And any manager worth their salt would be like, right, you up the stair, and you's take nothing else to do with the team. They need a manager to come in and run the footballing department properly, themselves, with his coaching team. That's what that's supposed to be for. No a football monitoring board to just sit and go, oh, he looks like a good player on YouTube, we'll bring him in. I mean, who? The boy McDonald and the boy Pollock, Matty Pollock, they get brought in the transfer window. They were right into the team the other night. So, Barry Robson's the interim manager. Have these guys now been flung on him and a bit like the Avida sign Pep Mobbit came up and played across the water, remember? When Kenny McDowell was the manager. And I call him the Avida sign Pet is because they were all they all came up for the Geordie land and obviously he sat with Fraser Aird and he's like, do the Rangers team, have these guys got to play? He went, once they're all fit, they've got to play. Who told you? A message for above. I'm sitting there going like that. You've got to be kidding me on. And I'm going, even if some of them aren't good enough, they've got to play. And then he says, the recurrent first team squad, no. He went, well, we'll know now. And I'm like, that is absolutely shocking. Like, you talk about a shambles. So that's what Aberdeen are going through now. And that's what that sort of puts me in mind of. But no, I'm the same as you. I think that'll be a draw. Next one up, mate, we've got Tynecastle. Hearts take on Dundee United. I'll let you fire away first with this one.
I didn't actually see any of their game, Hearts game against Rangers midweek, obviously because I was at their game.
Probably didn't miss much either, mate, going with the scoreline.
I know. Now, people are going to probably laugh at this or whatever, but Hearts on their 9-game unbeaten run. Obviously, the good pals came in, they lay out the red carpet for them. There's your 3 points, safe journey home. I think they'll get back to winning ways. I think they'll beat Dundee United. Red carpet's back in.
Aye, I would. It's put back in the cupboard, innit? No, I would agree with you. Because you look at Hearts, right? You look at their recruitment. You know, they think they've done well. As soon as they come up against, you know, one of the Glasgow teams, they just crumble. And if they've got any aspirations, mate, to finish, try to even get near the top 2, these are the games you need to start trying to take points in. These are the games you need to start trying to, you know, be a bit more competitive and stop getting beat convincingly. These are the games that you need to, you know, really make an impact in. And what surprises me there, Sean, is, again, I never seen the game, so I'm not going to start talking out of school, but, you know, Hearts have got a lot of experience in their team. Guys like, you know, Snoddy and Shankland, who's played in Scottish football for some time now. The big boy Civic. I know the other big boy at the back's injured now for him. What's his name?
Can I actually see his face?
Played by Livingston. I can't even remember. He's been out of the team that long. I forgot his name.
Aye.
He's quite tough. He's quite a tough player. He's no fear to a challenge. Can't remember, but he's not playing. Barry Mackay, he's here. You've got the big boy. Is it Rout? Kai Rolls. He played by Australia at the World Cup. The boy is it Atkinson? He was by Australia at the World Cup. Cammy Devlin,
I know.
Cammy Devlin, he didn't play. Apparently he was left out. Didn't play. Apparently that's where the problem is. Their midfield wasn't up to it, which is why they lost the game the way they did. I never seen the game, but this is only what I'm reading and hearing. Again, they've got a guy who maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but in terms of experience level, then you've got him sitting on the bench, a guy Andy Halliday, for a game like that. Would he not be more suited to play in there than what you thought was going to be like maybe a technical guy?
Somebody in the game, somebody,
but that's it, with a bit of fight. So I'm just keeping that as an example. I never seen the game, but I agree with you, Sean. I think they will win. Because, as you said, it's a kind of, there's your 3 points, right? Let's go. But they need to stop doing that, because if they've got any aspirations, they try to. I mean, I know I heard their chairman talking a while ago, and fair dues. Listen, they've got a dream, they've got a goal, they've got a sort of an ambition, and that's to disrupt the 2 Glasgow teams. And fair play to them, but they've got a long way to go, in my opinion, mate, to try and do that, because I think, especially us, I mean, this is what I wish as well, for anybody that's watching us, I don't know if it does any your nuts in, but it certainly does my nut in, Sean. See people that compare us and put us in the same sort of breath as them, it does my head in. I watched Open Goal for the other day. Derek Ferguson was saying, the 2 Glasgow teams, stop putting us in the same bracket, because between us and them, it's night and day. There's a gulf between the 2 teams as well. So we're no on a level pairing with them across the water. It's just, that's not true. We're miles ahead. And when I say miles ahead, you can see it. The league table doesn't tell lies. The the last 10 years worth of trophies doesn't tell lies. So we're miles ahead of him. Miles. And even players individually. Have a look at the two teams. Watch the two teams. Check the stats of the two teams. It's night and day between one another.
Mm-hmm.
So stop putting us in the same bracket as them, because we're nothing alike. We're two different teams, first and foremost.
Yep, totally agree with
you. We play a totally different brand of football for any other team in this league,
mm-hmm.
which is why we're so far ahead, which is why teams are struggling to deal with us. So I wish people would stop comparing us with them across the water. And because
it would be like us sitting here going, "Oh, when you go through and you play the Edinburgh teams," we don't say that.
No, because Hearts and Hibs are totally different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Hearts are so far ahead of Hibs now, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wish people would stop putting us in that sort of bracket, because it does my head in when I hear it. And obviously, like, you see it on social media and stuff, but when Derek Ferguson said that the other day, I was nearly screaming at the telly going, I've nothing against Derek personally, right? But I was going, Derek, seriously, you need to stop saying that, mate, because even you're not silly enough to actually think the two teams are on a level keel with one of them. No.
Mm-hmm.
For a start, you've got one team out moaning about budgets. There's one alone, right? You've got one manager out moaning about the other team's budget, calling another manager lucky. It's now became a thing because they played Lucky Man at Celtic Park the other night, which I thought was absolutely hilarious with a verve. Did you hear it at half time?
Mm-hmm. Aye.
It was absolutely quality. Whoever it is that plays the music in there needs a plaque up the wall. What a thought that was. Absolutely brilliant. But stop comparing us to them, because we're not alike. We're night and day for one another.
Mm-hmm.
Our identity with the team on the field is totally different for them. Go and look at the performances alone. Now, I know the two teams didn't do well result-wise in the Champions League, but just for example, go and look at the two teams in the Champions League. Look at one brand of football to the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's night and day. And then look at the manager at the time. Look at the mindset for one manager to the next. That alone tells you we're two different teams without even actually watching the two teams play.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that does my head in. But in terms of Hearts, I do think they'll win that game, mate. Next up, we've got Livy at home, and they take on Kilmarnock.
Again, Livy having a decent season. I know a lot of people always tend to put them in they're outperforming, they're having a pure wonder season. Past few years have been a decent team floating about there, and I can see a home win for Livingston. I was going to say because it's the plastic pitch, but Kelly playing 1-0, but just in that's the thing that they've usually got to other teams. Their slight advantage been taken away from them, so two of them. El Plastico, I think somebody called it.
El Plastico, brilliant.
I just think, especially with Livingston losing away at us all night, a wee bounce back. It's a pretty good fixture for them to bounce back in.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kilmarnock, I believe, still haven't won away from home.
Aye.
In the league. And Livingston are always good at home, so aye, a wee Livingston home win, I'd say.
I would agree with you. I think Livy will beat them at home. I think Livy are just that dogged way. They've got enough fight about them, and the big boy Nibley obviously came off the bench on Wednesday for them.
Aye.
Again, he's up against guys that are obviously better than him with Celtic, but in terms of other teams, he'll ragdoll certain individuals. Like clumsy guys like Ash Taylor, he'll ragdoll him like a shop. Just the natural physique and size of him. And the way he plays, he likes the ball on his feet big now, but he's actually quite good technically, by the way. It actually surprised me the other night with that one he came on. I think it was wee Taylor. He nicked the ball off him eventually, but it was the way he pulled it down. And he just went to kind of, it was like a wee basic step or dribble, and then he went to cut inside, and I think Taylor nicked the ball away from him, but It was then I noticed, I went, he's actually quite good technically. Like he's for a big guy, he's got kind of nifty footwork. But you've just got to look at the start of the season. I mean, John Souttar's not played again because of it.
Aye.
He absolutely he turned him into a bush at the end of the garden. Rolled him up and threw him away. No, he did, seriously. It was a bit of an embarrassment for the guy. And like I say, I know he's obviously injured, but he's not played since. I was debating whether he was actually injured or he just went hiding because he got Joe Nibbled all that park. But no, he can score as well, because obviously he showed that with that lobbed finish against team across the water. So, no, I do think Livy's that dogged way, Sean. I think they've got enough fight about him to outfight Kilmarnock and get that victory. So I'm going to say Livy too, mate. I think for the El Plastico, I think it'll be. I think Livy will come out victorious here. And I thought Martindale was, as much as people can say what they want about him, right? But I think he's so honest, and he always gives an honest opinion as to what he's watching and the product he sees, etc. I thought he was hysterical all night in his interview. Did you hear him?
Oh, I couldn't get a signal in here.
He says I'm glad I couldn't get a signal in here because at half time I was going to look for an Uber. I thought that was brilliant because he's like, I just feared the worst. That's again, your team just gets slaughtered 3-0 and you're out having a bit of banter because again, that's a manager, Sean, who's already complimented Celtic of being the best, but he knows he knew himself that if regardless of what team he fielded on Wednesday night, again, if Celtic turned up and we played some really nice football all night as well, but again, if Celtic turned up, he knew we're doing well to keep the score down to 2 or 3 here. And I think the second half, he would have probably been delighted with it because they nullified us enough to stop us from scoring again. But again, it was one of the ones, he's shouting out to John Kennedy and Gavin Stratton to stick on another ball because his boys were getting called. Because all they were doing was standing in their own box. But again, that's down to the relentlessness for us, Sean. The way this Celtic team are. I mean, they've got teams penned in their own half. When have you ever seen that with a Celtic team? Like, I know. This is what I'm saying. They just go right for it. They take a game with the scruff of the neck and go right for the jugular. But no, for anybody who a second ago as well was thinking as to what is he talking about, saying that the teams are night and day between one another and with us a name across the water. We certainly don't have players that do this midway through a game. We don't have players that sit down and take a rest after watching a guy scoring against you. And we don't have managers that do press conferences looking like this. It's just that simple. We don't do it. Ian Beale, he's got nothing left. But no, kidding aside, I'm taking Livy for that one. Then obviously you get them across the water, mate. They take on Ross County. I'm not holding out any hope for that one, to be fair.
I was going to say, I'm not going to talk about this one too much detail. I think a home win there. Don't even want to say their name. It's probably a home win.
Home win. Home win. And we'll be playing penalty bingo, I'd imagine, at some point of that game. And no doubt their best pal will come into play as well. I've heard he's the man of the match for him the last couple of games. So, aye, home win for me as well. And then the last fixture of Saturday, St Mirren, they're at home to Hibernian. I'll go first for this one. I actually think St Mirren will beat them. I think they're on a good run of form. I think they've got a good manager in Robinson, who I think Aberdeen would be after nut if they didn't go sniffing about him to find out if he was interested in the job. I think he's a brilliant manager, mate. I think the way the St Mirren team he inherited to the St Mirren team he's got now is totally night and day. and the way they play football as well, they're actually very technical. If you look at some of the players, I know they've just let go of the boy Erahan, you know, and they let go of that boy Dylan Reid's about to Crystal Palace. But I mean, they've got boys like Keanu Bacchus, who again was with Australia at the World Cup, can get the ball down, he can play. They've got big Mark O'Hara, who's had more clubs than Rory McIlroy, but he knows the Scottish game really well, and he's you know, in my opinion, he's a good player. They've got good experience. He's went and brought in Declan Gallagher. I thought that was brilliant the other night as well when they beat Aberdeen, and he's drinking a coffee. He's drinking a coffee with the Aberdeen reject at the top of the label. I thought that was brilliant. I don't know if he got to Starbucks last night to write that himself, but what a mindset, superb. But again, they showed the other night as well. They've got that fight in them. Aberdeen brought the game to level, and then they kicked on again and they found another gear to go and get the 2 goals. But I just think St Mirren, they know Sean, are in a good place. Like I say, I think they've got a decent manager, and I think Aberdeen would be after nut to look anywhere. They know, apart from going and finding out what his aspirations are to try and progress his own career. I know they obviously sniffed the former St Mirren manager and Jim Goodwin and brought him in, but I think Stephen Robinson's got a very, very good football brain, and he gets his teams well. He took Motherwell to 2 finals against us.
Exactly. Aye.
With a bare bone budget as well. I know obviously coming up against a Brendan Rodgers team or any Celtic team for that matter is going to be a hard slog, and if Celtic turn up again, you could be onto a doing. But Motherwell getting to 2 finals in a row that season, mate, I thought was a great achievement for that team, especially with the budget he had, and he worked miracles with him.
That Robinson came out and said he settled at the end of that season. It was after the Scottish Cup final. What would you have done differently? The fact that you made 2 cup finals this year, what would you have done differently so you could have got to silverware? And his answer was, no played Celtic. Just straight to the point, laughing about it. I had to play Celtic in both finals. What you expect me to do?
Well, look at Derek McInnes. Aberdeen had to do it many seasons as well when we won the invincible treble. But no, as I say, I'm going to take St Mirren just for the sort of factors, because I think he's a very good manager. And I've just heard that Hibs have got Nisbet out again. He done his hamstring the other night on the 24th minute of the game, so he had to come off. And by the way, he was nearly away. He nearly went to Millwall. So he started off the other night. The first game back, he was on the bench. He came off the bench, and I think he scored. Did he? Aye, he did.
Aye, came off the bench and scored.
It was against Aberdeen, wasn't it, at the weekend? So
Aye.
when they beat Aberdeen 6-0. But then, I mean, they go for that to draw with Ross County. So Hibs are very inconsistent just now as well, and can't find that sort of leveller. But no, I'm going to take St Mirren home win.
Aye, same as me. St Mirren home win.
That's St Mirren home win. That's it. You don't even have a backstory to it. You just don't want to.
I think the home record, I know. The fact that it was the first day of the season, is their only defeat at home this season so far. So even that into account, just shows we're on the defeat of the season was there. So he's built that up to be a tough place to go. As you said, Hibs away at Ross County. On paper, Hibs should be winning that. They struggled there. They're not going to go and do even better against a better team through in Paisley. So my money will be on St Mirren.
Aye, no, I just think St Mirren they've got that wee bit about them, mate. That obviously, I think they'll, especially at home, as you said, Sean, they've got good form. So I think and they beat us there as well. So, I think they'll take care of business. But then obviously you've got fixtures on Sunday, which is just us. So I'm not even going to ask you that, because obviously I know what way you're going to swing. I can't believe you've picked St Johnstone, but mate, I can't believe you said that is before we came on. That's
No, I didn't just pick St Johnstone. I went for the -1. I know.
Well, we'll try to get him a bit of confidence somehow. But their star man Adam Montgomery's not going to be able to play, so but that's all right. They seem to have. I think they've got Graham Carey, who can just come in and do a similar job. But no, like I said earlier, mate, Celtic turn up. There's only going to be one outcome. And I don't care if a St Johnstone podcast is sitting here listening to me an hour, even got me on a clip recording and now saying that, but I'll stick my neck out again. If Celtic turn up, then there's only going to be one outcome of that tie. But that brings us to the end of this.
Goal!
And it brings us to the end of our show, mate. Sean, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Oh, no, thank you. It's been good. Been a good laugh. Should date me often for it, Ryan.
No, definitely. I was going to say, certainly seems to be a lot of better chemistry. Saying that, what time are we on? Oh, it's nearly 10 o'clock. I think Ryan's with our other big friend. It's Friday night as well, isn't it, mate? So no doubt they're giving it loudy. I can see a Friday night. I think there'll be white smoke coming out of Big Man's chimney soon. But no, mate, it's been good having you on again. Appreciate it. For all the guys that are watching us, appreciate everybody that's took the time to watch us. I know it can't be easy. It's a Friday night. So thank you very much for coming on and watching us. Thank you, everybody, also for all your comments. Sorry, I can't get through everybody's comment. I do see them all. So I apologise if I didn't directly reply to you as we were chatting, but because it was such a good chat, we just continued going. For anybody that's new to the page and likes the content, please don't hesitate to hit the like and subscribe button on our channel. If you do like the content, that is. And if you don't know how to do it, then you can set up a wee email address and a password attached to it that you would remember quite easily. And it just allows you to click the wee subscribe bar. And basically all that does, it's free, by the way, as well. So it doesn't charge anybody any money. And this, obviously, what we bring to these content-wise is all free as well. We don't charge any money for that. But obviously, it gives you a wee notification and lets you know when the page is going to be live. And anybody else that maybe doesn't have external social media, because we're all on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. The page is on TikTok as well, so just type in on Celtic Unrestricted View, you'll get it on there. There is a section on our YouTube channel, guys. It's called Community. Now, if you click into that daily, we will update that with what's going on with the page. So, if, like, just if we're talking to you, if we get any guests on to chat with us, or what time we're going to be on certain nights, etc. A lot of information for that will be in there, and it gives you a chance to comment as well, guys. If any of you want to ask the page anything, or want to, and anybody else want to have a general chat with us, we're all open to for anybody that might be sitting who maybe has had a bad day that day, or feeling a bit down or a bit depressed or a bit, this could be a get out for you, listening to us talking one load of whatever you want to call it on a Friday night. But no, feel free to reach out. As I said, I'm on Twitter. I'll put up my Twitter handle for anybody that wants to get in contact. My Twitter handle's there, so anybody that actually wants to reach out, please don't sit yourself and sit in silence. It's always nice to talk to somebody, even if you don't know the person. Sometimes it's nice to just reach out saying, hiya, how we doing? My name's so-and-so, and we've all got a common thing if we're on here, which is Celtic, so we'll never run out of anything to chat about. So please don't hesitate. Myself and Ryan are on Twitter. Like I says, we're on all our platforms as well. if any of the kind of older generation that maybe doesn't have that extended social media, like I says, you can message the page through YouTube on the channel, and just all you need to do is type it into the community. There's a comments box, or even on this, you can still comment and we'll still see it. And anybody that wants to ask us anything at all, we will reply to you straight away. Myself and Ryan have direct access to that daily anyway, so we'll be able to do that for you. But again, guys, it's been a total pleasure being here chatting with you. Massive hail from me, Sean.
And myself, hail.
And yourself, hail. We look forward to Sunday, guys. And I'm not 100%, but I think we will be back on Sunday night as well for you. So a massive hail, guys. And we will see you again. Cheers.
You look as if you've just come straight away from the Green Brigade.
Aye, with a meeting at 6:30, mate.